Let me share with you why I jump out early and start handling these weeds. This is right on the borderline between my property and my neighbor's. He's been here a couple years. It's the first real rainy winter we've had, so he's kind of caught with his pants down a little bit here. These weeds in front of me, you can see, I mean, it's so thick, I can barely even step in there. These are over 4 feet. That's over 6. So like, here's a selfie. You can see, I mean, they're huge. Taller than me. And you can see, just packed tight. When I moved here, this is kind of how I found the place, but it was in July. So all these weeds were here, but they were not green. They were brown and dead. And I really needed to get rid of them. And it took me, honestly, over a year to do 5 acres of this. Weed whacking, bundling it up, dragging it out. So I feel a little bit bad. I'm across the property line right now. We're on very good terms. But I feel a little bad for him because I don't think he realizes how bad it is. He's been taking care of the front property, and this is more in the back. So like, let's say he sends somebody back here to weed whack now that this is so thick. You don't really even want to step into this. You know, I'm stepping blindly, and I hear something moving. And the reason I'm a little chicken is it was 85 today. This is perfect rattlesnake weather. So you may very well step into that right into a rattlesnake. I think last year I killed like 2 and saw probably another 5 that I left alone. If they're down here, I leave them alone. But they just got away from him really bad. So what I did to avoid that, because I learned a little better, and this may be helpful for someone buying acreage, is when the weeds start, go out and spray them. So right now I'm spraying like glyphosate, which is generic Roundup. I'm just doing very small spots, so I'm not even wearing my PPE. And I didn't realize this was this bad, so I should really get my bigger rig out here and blast all this for the neighbor just to be a nice neighbor. But what I've done, let me get back up to my area here. I just get out early. You know, weeds start, and I hate to spray really close to the fruit tree, but all I'm going to do is just a little pop, 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 and that one's done. So same with like over here. I'm just going to do small spot sprays. So it's not overwhelming. I can still see where I need to be. I can hit the small spots. If it gets too big, you really have to like blanket the whole thing. Let me show you. So like, even right here in the driveway, these are young. I can use a very minimal amount of Roundup on these. I don't even have to weed whack them. I've weed whacked them before. See, this is a mustard seed. So I'll just knock that one out. But I'm just gonna stay away from any of the fruit, any of the flowers, any of the stuff I want. It's very easy to keep it separated. So like up on this slope, that if I didn't get out there would look more like where I was standing. So you can see it's brown. It looks horrible, I'll admit. I really, like when I first came in, I'm like, oh, it's green, just leave it green because I like the green, but it gets unruly and wild. And anything that grows that big, you pretty much have to take it all back out. So I have plans for that slope. That's why I have the irrigation sticking up right there. But I came out here a month ago, or maybe even more, and as soon as the weeds started, I just spray them. Boom, just knock them out. Previously, what I would do is I'd let them get to be kind of more like my neighbors, not quite that bad, but get them to be a foot tall, and I'd go and mow and weed whack this whole thing. I'd spend like a whole day mowing and weed whacking, and then like a whole nother day spraying. So instead, I just go out earlier and spray, and I found from experience that works pretty good. Spray them when they're small. I'm using less than half of the chemicals I used to use, and I have to go out more often. Like I can't just wait until the end of spring. I go out sort of like in the beginning of spring, and then another, like today I'll be out here an hour. I'm just gonna spray. I'm just gonna shoot this 5 gallons here. I'm gonna shoot and I'm getting actually just about empty anyway. I'm just gonna shoot the 5 because it's so, I don't even have to dye it, and I just hit the spots, and then in another 2 weeks I'll come around and hit a few more spots. And this is the way to do it. Otherwise, you end up like this neighbor over here. His place is hammered. The neighbor that's kind of my friend, his place is hammered. That's my ice plant there. That looks good. Out there, totally a mess. Get away from you. Yep. Over the years, this is what I learned. I've done a lot of stuff, but I've never really had to take care of weeds on 5 California acres, especially with slopes. So I didn't know what the heck I was doing when I started. And this is, through trial and error, this is the best way to do it right here. So hope that helps somebody.